What manufacturers can genuinely compete with Tesla, and who are they up against? Tesla debuted its first electric vehicle, the Roadster, in 2008, as part of a grand plan to start with a high-priced, low-volume sports car and use the proceeds to fund subsequent cars. Only around 2,500 Roadsters were sold in total, but it was enough for Tesla to go on to the next step of its strategy. According to Elon Musk, new technology takes a few iterations to perfect before reaching the general market, and Tesla was competing with 150 years of gasoline automobiles and trillions of dollars spent on them. The second part of this master plan, established in 2006, was to use the funds to develop a more optimized mid-priced, mid-volume car, known as the Model S, which debuted in 2012. Tesla followed up with their first SUV, the Model X, in 2015. At its height in 2017, the Model S and Model X combined sold approximately 100,000 vehicles each year. While Tesla's journey was not without bumps, and delivery dates were pushed back, the company finally brought these fantastic goods to market, which were well received by customers. Despite trying something new and surprising customers with electric vehicles that many thought were impossible to build with such high specifications, Tesla has been mocked and ridiculed throughout the process. In November of 2015, former Daimler chairman, Ezard Reuter, said that Tesla was a joke and that it couldn't be taken seriously when compared to Germany's great car companies, and Musk was referred to as a pretender. Even Bob Lutz, the former vice chairman of GM and Chrysler, and a close friend of Elon Musk's, has forecasted Tesla's doom several times over the years. He claimed in September of 2018 that Elon Musk does not know how to operate a vehicle company, and he referred to Tesla as a car firm on its way to the graves. Lutz claimed in 2015 that Tesla was in jeopardy, that the business needed to build auto dealerships to survive, and that the company had no secret recipe when it came to battery technology. Despite the skeptics, Elon Musk risked his whole firm on the third phase of his master plan, introducing the Model 3 in 2016 as a low-cost, high-volume car. After Tesla received over 325,000 reservation pre-orders for the Model 3 at $1,000 each, manufacturers began to turn their attention. Elon Musk also warns Tesla's shareholders, consumers, and other stakeholders that producing this car will send the company into production hell. The major problem was designing the vehicle to be extremely manufacturable, as well as setting up the Nevada plant to make a large quantity of batteries, as well as the Fremont facility to assemble the cars in an automated manner. Musk was criticized for over-automating the production process, and subsequently confessed that the firm was weeks away from bankruptcy owing to delays and other problems. Tesla, on the other hand, was able to persevere and ramp up Model 3 manufacturing to a sustainable level, as well as develop the machines that makes the machines. Basically, the Gigafactory manufacturing system is designed with computer-aided software. Tesla's electric vehicles now have acceleration specifications that blow their gas-powered counterparts out of the water. Sentry mode, which continuously records video around the perimeter of the vehicle for better security. Dog mode, which can regulate temperature in the vehicle. Autonomous driving features, such as highway driving, called autopilot, and summoning your car to pick you up in a small parking lot, and over-the-air updates, which updates the car, just like a smartphone, giving it the ability for the vehicle to get better over time and also improve vehicle performances, are among the new software features. Many of these functions would be impossible to achieve without the massive technology lead Tesla has in the battery that sits at the heart of every vehicle. Hello, and welcome to Inferno Rocket, where we'll keep you up to date on all things Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon Musk. Tesla's dedication to battery technology has allowed them to swiftly catch up to the range of many internal combustion engines. Your competitors, who once mocked Tesla, have not been able to reach the same range in their production vehicles as a 2012 Model S. Tesla also owns and manages the world's biggest network of supercharger charging stations, keeping prices as low as possible for Tesla owners charging away from home. After Tesla established an objective of starting car production a year after starting to develop the first totally owned Chinese Giga plant, something unexpected happened. At the end of 2019, Tesla met its goal, completing Giga Shanghai in 11 months and producing vehicles at a pace of about 1,000 vehicles per week. Despite producing just 367,000 vehicles last year, compared to Toyota's 10 million, it is currently the world's second largest automotive firm, with a market cap exceeding $130 billion, only behind Toyota. Tesla, on the other hand, has done such accomplishments without spending any money on sponsored promotion. But how can Tesla compete with the top players, the major established automotive competitors with their vast budgets, or even upstart electric car startups with their Tesla killers? We'll look at a variety of vehicle businesses to determine whether any of them can truly compete with Tesla. In a recent interview, Gene Munster, a former analyst who is now a venture capitalist, and has been a strong supporter of Tesla, was asked which carmaker is in second place. His first response was that he couldn't come up with anyone. However, after being questioned several times, he stated that it may be Ford. He did warn, though, that it would be necessary to examine the financial sheets of these historic automakers, which we shall do in a moment. Ford is already working on its third electric vehicle, a delivery van called the Ford Transit, which will be available in 2022. Unfortunately, Ford's first two vehicles, the electric F-150 and the Mustang Mach-E, are still unavailable. Ford appears to be gently putting its toes into the electric vehicle sector with the Mustang Mach-E, which will start at $45,000, somewhat more than the Model Y's pricing, and arrive 9 months after the Model Y. The Model Y is Tesla's fifth-generation car, and the Model Y production lines are based on Tesla's third major factory design, which is based on the same platform as the Model 3. Because Tesla has spent so much time perfecting the Model 3, the Model Y will most likely be quite polished right out of the gate, with highly advanced software that is already in use on Tesla's other vehicles. Ford is working on its first electric car, and based on the idea, we can already notice a lack of software refinement, since the business spends very little money on research and development activities in comparison to its size and budget. Ford has an overall branding problem with this vehicle, as they don't want to destroy the lucrative gas car Mustang business, so they created a vehicle that isn't actually a Mustang, and won't appeal to Mustang fans, while also failing to appeal to those who aren't interested in Mustangs. Ford claims to have 20 years of expertise with electrification, but as Elon Musk points out, creating concept cars is easy, but building anything that can be mass-produced is very difficult. Tesla has a gigafactory in Nevada that can produce 30 gigawatt-hours of batteries per year, but Ford does not have a gigafactory and must rely on outside suppliers for batteries, which is a huge downgrade. Because Tesla is vertically integrated, they can optimize for efficiency and save costs, which implies Ford may be losing money on the Mach-E to compete with Tesla, and subsidizing the losses with their internal combustion fleets. We've heard from multiple Tesla short sellers that the company has structural issues, but it appears that Ford has far more structural issues than many people believe. To begin with, Ford has about $35 billion in cash on hand, which is actually more than the company's entire $26 billion market cap value. If Ford didn't have an automobile industry tied to all that money, it would be worth a lot more. On the other hand, Ford acts more like a bank than a vehicle manufacturer, borrowing $140 billion in debt to give out and fund automobile loans. Ford owes $52 billion in credit card debt, which is due in a year and is secured by vehicle loans. Only $14 billion of debt is connected to automobiles, which is a significant amount given the company's market capitalization of $26 billion. That's more than half of their market value, and it's all due to vehicle loan. The other $14 billion is just a risk that is not covered by deposits, as is the case with a typical bank. As a result, in order to generate money, they must use extreme leverage. Investors are clearly concerned that if Ford's electric ambitions fail to pay off, it will be bad news. However, transitioning to a new line of business has historically been challenging, especially for slow-moving giant companies like Ford, which plans to replace profitable ICE vehicles with money-losing electric vehicles. Furthermore, Ford has a plethora of middleman dealerships that don't gain from selling electric vehicles, which don't break as easily as conventional vehicles do, and may jeopardize their sole source of revenue, service money. To make matters worse, Ford has a global pension plan that is $6 billion underfunded. Finally, the F-Series, or the F-150 pickup truck, is Ford's bread and butter, and where the majority of their earnings comes from, which will be targeted by Tesla's Cybertruck. Of fact, Ford made an investment in pickup truck designer Vivian, which we'll discuss shortly, but their investment is unlikely to match the billions of dollars in profit that Tesla has targeted in order to create a vehicle that is superior in every aspect than the F-150. Of course, few people are taking the Cybertruck seriously, but with over 530,000 pre-ordered deposits, it's no longer a joke for Ford. Apart from Tesla, GM is the largest manufacturer in the United States, but it has the same challenges as Ford, and a slew of other automakers when it comes to credit loans, pension plans, unions, and dealerships. Following the financial crisis, GM split out its banking division into a new company, GM Bank, in September 2010. GM does, however, have a business named GM Financial, which has $89 billion in loans, 35 of which are due in the near future. GM also has roughly $10 billion in unfunded pension commitments, although the company has been involved in the electric car market for quite some time. They've sold over 200,000 electric vehicles, which means their tax incentives in the United States are about to run out. Numbers 1, 2, and 4 on the list of best-selling electric vehicles in the United States in 2019 were all Teslas, while the third was GM's Chevy Volt, which has been in short supply. In 2016, even Bob Lutz referred to GM's Volt as a compliance vehicle, which the company is solely selling to comply with California rules. GM also revealed that it has no intentions to invest any additional money in the installation of DC fast charging stations, which allow electric car drivers to charge their vehicles while on the road. Furthermore, GM CEO Mary Barra reportedly had her supply chain utilize Tesla suppliers, even though they were more expensive. Rather than battling Tesla with superior goods, they just sought to bottleneck and slow down the suppliers in order to harm the firm. Because you can't ship a car that's missing a part, Elon Musk has stated numerous times that the rate at which Tesla can build automobiles is as fast as the slowest part. Tesla has had numerous delays in the past, forcing them to bring a lot of things in-house and become even more vertically integrated, which has made Tesla a stronger and more agile company, which has been a bit of a backfire for GM. GM just opted to devote more resources to the electric vehicle game in 2020, with what they call Ultium batteries, which they claim are cheaper and have a longer range than Tesla's batteries. GM claims that its batteries include modules that can be switched out if required, which Elon Musk recently stated that Tesla will be moving away from, since the modules have always existed in Tesla batteries, but were never utilized for the changing out function, and are now merely a source of extra expense. GM's so-called Ultium batteries use cobalt, an expensive and unethical material that GM claims to be reducing by 70%, but Tesla has already made significant progress in reducing cobalt to a minimum, with the goal of eliminating it entirely, something Tesla will be able to achieve in China, thanks to its partnership with CATL. The buzzword Ultium alone gives the impression that marketing is taking over from General Motors engineers, since the name seeks to hide the reality that GM's batteries are nothing unique and inferior to Tesla's. GM is believed to be developing its own battery plant, comparable to Tesla's Gigafactory in Nevada, but in collaboration with LG Chem, to create 30 gigawatt-hours of batteries. Tesla, on the other hand, has started work on its third Gigafactory in Germany. However, GM has a strategy in place to provide its vehicles with batteries, which are now in short supply. At the same time, GM intends to keep the Chevy Volt on the road, as well as revive the Hummer as its next electric car. Consumers want the same automobiles, but they want them to be electric, according to General Motors, whereas Tesla builds electric vehicles from the ground up. By the way, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to our channel, where we keep you up to date on all the latest news from Elon Musk, Tesla, and SpaceX. It only takes a few seconds to subscribe, and while you're there, if you could leave a like on the video, that would be greatly appreciated. Keeping in mind that the Hummer had a previous life as a gas-guzzling, worst fuel economy of all time, it will somehow impress consumers as an electric vehicle, even though regular electric vehicles have been struggling with range. GM believes it has the capabilities to make a 400-mile range battery, likely using a 200 kilowatt-hour battery. Meanwhile, Tesla's current Model S, which utilizes a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack, almost 400 miles of range, so either the electric Hummer has awful range, or it has enough batteries to push the price considerably higher, into the premium category. Keeping in mind that GM now has a 29% market share in the US truck industry, it will also have to compete with Tesla's Cybertruck, which starts at $39,000 and has a top price of $96,000, and has a range of over 500 miles. Finally, GM plans to invest $20 billion over the next 5 years to launch 11 new all-electric cars, including at least 20 new models by 2023. While it may not be fall information, it does remind me of the market response to Apple's iPhone, which was to launch as many cell phones as possible in order to ensure that there was something for everyone. This resulted in a significant increase in overhead. It's noteworthy to note that, although being developed on the same platform as the Model 3, Tesla's Model Y took years to arrive. Tesla was able to concentrate on a limited number of goods and aggressively develop and optimize them. GM's plan to introduce 20 new cars over the next 3 years is both costly and inefficient. Especially now that General Motors' tax incentives are being phased away. Instead of using the tax credits to support their next generation of automobiles, they appear to have spent them on the money-losing Chevy Bolt. Despite what the media may have you think, it will take a lot for GM to compete with Tesla on battery pricing and range. Toyota is an intriguing case since they are the world's largest automaker, but they also have defined benefit pension plans, a $100 billion loan portfolio, and, of course, dealerships. Tesla used to build electric powertrains for Toyota, demonstrating that they are not simple to produce. Toyota hasn't actively participated in the electric car trend in recent years, instead focusing on hybrid vehicles and hydrogen fuel cells, like the Toyota Mirai. Fuel cells make sense for a variety of reasons. They burn cleanly, have a reasonable range, and are easy to replenish with hydrogen. This contrasts with electric cars, which have a limited range, take too long to charge, and are prohibitively expensive. However, Tesla's Model Y SUV crossover vehicle is actually superior to the fuel cell car in terms of range, pricing, and performance. It's far more pleasant to own a Tesla and wake up every morning with a fully charged vehicle than it is to try to find a hydrogen fueling station. Furthermore, completely charging a Tesla costs around $8 to $10 depending on electricity prices, but a hydrogen counterpart might cost upwards of $60. With the exception of the clean-burning fuel, hydrogen has no practical advantages over ICE vehicles. Unfortunately, most individuals make decisions based on economics rather than environmental concerns. Toyota, on the other hand, plans to deploy a large fleet of battery electric vehicles in 2020. They published this generated rendering of their intentions, but it's possible that Toyota has a few tricks up its sleeve to get its battery electric vehicles from idea to mass production. Toyota released a roadmap indicating that by 2050, or in 30 years, they may have a small fleet of BEVs, or battery electric vehicles. This is a little humiliating for a firm that used to be recognized for out-manufacturing American automakers in its prime. Volkswagen is currently the world's third largest manufacturer, although it is tied with Toyota for annual sales of roughly 10 million vehicles, and it has billions of dollars in cash on hand, as well as the same dealership difficulties as the heritage automakers. Volkswagen's punishment for the Dieselgate cheat device emission scandal was to invest billions of dollars in an electric charging network called Electrify America. Despite the fact that Volkswagen's supercharger network is currently considerably smaller than Tesla's, this puts the company behind of the competition. They have a flurry of new products in the works, but Volkswagen has a number of companies that seek to target different market groups with their offers. With the mediocre electric Golf's 125-mile range and Porsche's subpar 201-mile range, beginning at $150,000, it's apparent that the Volkswagen-funded compliance charging network puts new meaning to few and far between. Volkswagen, on the other hand, has the potential to develop its vehicles over time and remain a major participant in the automotive market. Tesla, on the other hand, will have a vehicle in each of these sectors next year. The Porsche Taycan will compete against the new Roadster, which will have a range of over 600 miles. Now we'll look at Rivian, which is an 11-year-old private business that focuses entirely on electric vehicles and has many of the same benefits as Tesla in terms of dealerships, unions, pensions, and a gas card section. Rivian's initial plans were to introduce the R1T, a pickup vehicle. Many people viewed this firm as the future Ford, and Ford ended up investing in Rivian. With the R1S SUV for a niche market targeted at outdoorsy individuals. Amazon, on the other hand, made an investment and purchased 100,000 delivery vehicles for the Rivian's master plan. These vans, however, will be supplied over a 10-year period, averaging 10,000 cars per year. Taking into account that Rivian has yet to release a vehicle, Tesla has gone through 3 phases of its master plan, beginning with low-volume, high-priced automobiles, and it looks like Rivian is ready to reach that phase. Of course, with 3 goods to worry about, small businesses are becoming more dispersed, thanks to Amazon. As Elon Musk has stated, it's not about pouring more money at vehicles, it's about gathering talent, which Rivian has yet to demonstrate, and if they want to attain scale, they'll have to go through the same challenges that Tesla had in developing the Model 3. It's fascinating to note that the legacy manufacturers have scale experience, but not with electric vehicles, and that the startups have electric vehicle experience, but none of them have scaled to the mass market. While the Rivian R1T appears to be a regular pickup truck, It is expected to be released at the same time as the Tesla Cybertruck. The Rivian starts at $70,000 with a range of 230 miles, while the price for a range of up to 400 miles has yet to be revealed. Whereas the Tesla Cybertruck starts at $40,000 for 230 miles of range, and the top-end Cybertruck costs the same as the lowest in Rivian, but it is projected to have more than double the range. Rivian uses costly batteries, up to 180 kilowatt-hours, and has 4 motors in its cars, which is one of the reasons Tesla can improve performance by making its batteries more efficient and employing a maximum of 3 motors in its highest and most powerful version. If Rivian has difficulties competing against Tesla's sophisticated technology and dent-proof stainless steel frame, the timing for riveting will be important for the firm, and may represent an existential hazard. While Tesla is focused on dethroning the Ford F-150 as America's best-selling automobile, Rivian may be a fringe player. Rivian's major target market was the outdoor adventure-oriented market sector. Nevertheless, Tesla took a direct shot at Rivian, claiming to be more practical with a 6.5-foot bed versus Rivian's 4.5-foot bed. It's noteworthy that new upstart electric car businesses get more credit than traditional automakers, according to Bollinger Motors. Traditional automakers, on the other hand, have heaps of cash, and they can attempt to create electric vehicles, fail, and yet have enough cash to try again a few times. Getting a second chance for a startup is significantly more challenging. Bollinger, founded in 2015, aspires to build the world's first all-electric on- and off-road vehicle. With Rivian and Tesla hot on its heels, achieving that objective may be difficult. Even more so, the pickup vehicle is priced at $125,000 and has a range of barely 200 miles. Most startups are following Tesla's lead and starting with the first Roadster in 2008, which puts them around 12 years or more behind Tesla. Also, for the same price as the Bollinger starting price, 2 of the highest-spec Cybertrucks, each with a range of 500 miles, may be purchased. Let's take a look at several Chinese automakers, starting with NIO. One of the reasons that NIO is so popular in the United States is that the company is publicly traded. In China, NIO sold slightly over 20,000 automobiles in 2019, more than tripling its previous year's sales. Despite the fact that NIO began with a bang and was dubbed the Tesla of China, NIO has struggled to live up to its reputation among Chinese consumers. NIO has an odd business strategy that relies on providing spaces for people to lounge about, dubbed NIO houses, which is expensive in terms of real estate and rent, and adds nothing to the company's bottom line. NIO also employs massive battery swapping equipment to swiftly recharge a vehicle's battery by replacing it with a new one. Tesla experimented with this in California before abandoning the concept, especially when Tesla's superchargers became quicker and faster. Battery switching stations, on the other hand, are expensive to buy and operate, and contain numerous moving components that break more frequently than a supercharger with no moving parts. Another issue with startups, especially in China, is that they face some of the same issues that Tesla did when it initially began. They must establish their own service centers, which traditional automakers currently do. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, has stated that service facilities and superchargers are essential for selling automobiles in a given area. Consumers will not buy vehicles unless these 2 factors are there. While a consequence, because NIO needs to create repair facilities but has few cars on the road, these service centers become highly costly to operate as they wait for business to pick up and warranties to expire. For many years, this has been a stumbling block to Tesla's development and expansion. NIO's balance sheet is particularly poor for an automaker, with only $137 million in cash at the end of 2018, down from $3 billion at the end of 2018. Fortunately for NIO, the Chinese government bailed it out with a $1.4 billion capital injection in return for the construction of a new headquarters in the city. So the Chinese aren't so eager to let NIO go bankrupt. That said, NIO has lost $44 per share in the last year, which is a lot for a $3 stock. It has lost almost 15 times the worth of the entire firm. BYD is a Chinese business that manufactures anything from automobiles to buses, forklifts, batteries, and even solar panels, founded in 1995. They also profited from smartphone components and assembly services, as well as producing gas and electric automobiles. BYD is owned by Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, which owns 8% of the company. BYD has a bus factory in California and sells buses to the US government. BYD appears to move more faster than other global manufacturers, but owing to its wide range of goods, it lacks the same level of focus as a business like Tesla. In a recent interview, Warren Buffett stated that Charlie Munger, Berkshire Hathaway's vice chairman, contacted him one day and said, "We need to acquire BYD because the person running it is better than Thomas Edison." Buffett, of course, said it wasn't good enough, but they finally acquired a piece of the firm. Buffett claims that BYD has so much business in China that it will likely concentrate on his own country for the foreseeable future, giving Tesla an advantage in other areas of the world even while Tesla competes in China. BYD is a Buffett business that projects sales to increase steadily over the next 5 years. For the whole year of 2018, the firm generated almost $17 billion in revenue and $380 million in profit. The firm is smaller in terms of sales than Tesla, but it has enormous goals. BYD established a collaboration with Toyota in November of 2019 to supply them with batteries. BYD, on the other hand, aims to split off its automotive battery sector in 2022, removing critical vertical integration that has worked well for Tesla and allowed Tesla to build battery packs that function well with the powertrain in the rest of the car, something that BYD intends to forego. This would make them less competitive. However, it looks that BYD's aim is to manufacture over 120 gigawatt-hours and provide other firms with batteries, a business model that is distinct from Tesla's. So we looked at some of the world's largest automakers, as well as new startups with developing goods in the EV market, to see who may challenge Tesla. Of course, there are many other competitors in the sector. The existing traditional manufacturers have huge finances, scaling experience, and a plethora of service facilities, but they are still tethered to the dealership model, which customers detest. They are slow-moving and hesitant to jeopardize their present extremely successful polluting vehicle industry, and they lack experience, electric batteries, and technology, compared to Tesla and even some of the other EV companies. On the other hand, we have these startups that are completely focused on low-volume, high-priced electric vehicles, but they are working with limited resources. Therefore, while they resemble Tesla, they are more like Tesla from 10 years ago, with a slower rate of innovation. Finally, there is a class of Chinese automobile manufacturers that have been protected by the Chinese government, but they are now competing with Tesla and China. It has also attracted the attention of the Chinese government. To summarize, many firms speak a big game but fail to offer a compelling product. As a result, there are no true Tesla competitors at this moment. Which company do you think can rival Tesla? Let us know your thoughts on the topic in the comments section below. A quick reminder to subscribe to our channel. There's a link down below for more Tesla news and conjecture. If you want to learn more about Tesla, SpaceX, and Elon Musk, we have 2 more video alternatives for you to watch on the screen. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more weekly news like this.